So here is the swamp cooler that I purchased. It's a what is it? It is a Bonaire Durango 2800. It is supposed to supply me with some water-cooled air. Now it came with these brackets to hold it onto a conventional wall, but we don't have a conventional wall, do we? So I had to figure out a way to mount these things without drilling into the fiberglass here, because for one thing it would look bad, and for another thing I don't think it would supply a whole lot of stability. There is a metal cage. This whole thing is a metal cage, but I don't know where it is exactly. So we'll do something else. Okay, so I have cleared away some of the excess belongings from this window. This is where we're going to put the swamp cooler. So first, my trusty thing for getting cobwebs. Next, I need to measure for PVC. Okay, so I measured on the inside already. Just double checking that 32 inches should be more than sufficient for the PVC to rest on the window frame. Okay, now I got this thing at Harbor Freight. I've never used this kind of a pipe cutter before. Looks pretty straightforward. It was a choice between this for $7.99 and an old-fashioned miter box, including a saw, for $9.99, which would be helpful for other things, but I'm not so sure. Anyway, can I do this with one hand and hold the camera? No. Okay, so today's puzzle, yes, that's my car outside the window, but now I've put together this piece of PVC, and once I get the measurement from real life, these ends here I'll cut off and I'll mount a piece of wood, and well, we'll see that part later. But the thing for today, though, is that really this decorative valance kind of a thing, frame around the window, is kind of in the way. I can probably force it this side through so it'll rest against the frame of the vehicle. But on this side, this decorative thing is closed in, so I'm going to have to cut part of it away. So that's this morning's project, is to get this flush up against the window. And just as a side note, this green interior is, I love the color green, just not any of the shades they have inside here. Sort of pukey pale green doesn't work for me. I mean, it's not even olive drab or anyway, I digress. Okay, so I cut a notch here, and it seemed to work. the various weather stripping around here is not doing too well, but okay, so that's trapped in there like that. And I'm a little concerned that the weight is going to pull this down. It needs to really be level, but there's a solution for that. Okay, here we are looking at the other side. It's all in place. Yeah, I'm a little concerned with this flex. However, the idea here is I got these little flange things cut this close enough and mount a piece of wood here to mount the cooler on. So hopefully I can get these tight enough to the body that it won't rock up and down. But before I can do that, I need to arrange the wood. Okay, back to the project, the swamp cooler through the window project. I let this sit overnight in a clamp so that these little pieces of foam would attach to the wood, so the wood won't rest against the paint outside. We'll see what that means in a minute. Okay, so I've made little marks where those go. The next thing is to drill some pilot holes. Not going to do that while holding the camera. Okay, yep. Got those in. So that's one down. Got to do the other one. And it's a little off center. I hope that's not a problem. Turns out that I do have a mic stand made into a camera stand or iPad stand. So I can work with two hands. Yeah, two hands while I'm working on this. So the idea here is that these guys go up in next to the paint in an orderly manner. And the next task is to cut them short enough, but not too short. Something like this. I need to cut it. Okay, this needs to go about there. But how deep does this slide in? Yeah, so this will slide almost all the way in. I better get tape measure for this part. So this will go in 1 1/8 inch. So from my mark, I'm going to go back 1 1/8 inch. And it doesn't have to be exact because I don't do exact, right? Here, take a break and come back to me later. So we got it marked right there. Aha! The test. Aha! So far so good. Now at this point, I could just screw these into place, right? The cooler rests on here, but I'm not quite sure how this is compared to the real world. So what I'm going to do is put the cooler in place here and strap it in as best as I can without these supports, and then make the final decision on where these hang based on reality, not my imperfect system of measuring. Okay, thank goodness for Dollar Tree and Dollar Tree's noodles that are so good for so many other things. Got this closed cell foam around a second piece of PVC to hold the cooler up off of those two wooden posts. But just in case it isn't holding them up enough, got another couple of pieces of this and some adhesive, too much adhesive. And I cut a notch, so hopefully these will seat on here. But I'm going to have to let the glue set for a little bit. The noodle is on there just with basic friction. Maybe glue at a later date. Last night, I went ahead and lifted the thing into place, and it's being held there with some straps we see, and it fits in the space pretty well. There's a bezel anyway that goes on the front. It'll still air leak, so I'll need to get I'll need to institute some more pool noodles to create a seal. Okay, so we see how it's being held in place with the strap. All right, so here are the wooden slats. These need to go up under here to support it. And this is why I didn't install them earlier, is because this is offset. So I'm going to have to do something. All right, so I got it mounted out there. And I got these brackets in place. I had to wedge them a little bit because it wants to stand away from the wall. One thing I found on the inside, though, is that this guy is supposed to be in here. And I'm afraid if I force it, so that's not a good thing, to break it. Okay, so I was able to muscle this into place so that it can stay there. Now it's filling, and I looked at the manual and it says the water level should not be any higher than the standpipe. Now, my understanding of what a standpipe is that it would plug into this plug and be like an overflow. Maybe I'm wrong, but the drawing showed that the water shouldn't be closer than 3/4 of an inch, 19 millimeters from there. So I think we're getting pretty close. Time to test it out. Okay, so here we go. Finally, time for the test. See, it looks like to me that it's not level, but on the inside, the water level on the inside shows that also it's not level, but it's not nearly as bad there as it looks like here. So I'm not going to worry about it right now. Well, that's on. That is seriously a lot quieter than that big old floor fan over here that I just turned off. So that part, already liking. Now the test. We push the cool button. Well, the cool button was already pushed. Came from the factory already pushed. Yes, yes, yes. It's going to take a minute for the pads to fill with water, but it's already cooler. Oh my goodness. Now this function here is called swing. I don't know if you can see those veins inside moving back and forth. Okay, there we go. Not the most professional install in the world, but I think it's going to work. Okay, so we're on to proof of concept. It's about a half hour or so later. I got the fan, one of the ceiling fans, going to the way swamp coolers work is a pass through. You have to have as much air going out as coming in for them to work. And I closed the kitchen window, and the unit is making cool air just like it should.